Next, we'll look at some of the materials and chemicals that are used in electronics assembly. There are several different types of soldering operations that are used to attach components onto electronic assemblies, including hand soldering, wave soldering, selective soldering, and reflow or hot air soldering. All of these soldering processes use solder, which is a mixture of various metals called alloys. We use solder wire, solder preforms, solder paste, and solder bars. Some solder alloys contain lead, which is poisonous to humans. Tin lead solders are generally used in aerospace and military applications since the lead makes the solder connection more flexible and therefore more reliable. Other solders are lead-free. Lead-free solder alloys are commonly used for commercial products. When you watch the hand soldering process, there is a noticeable amount of fumes that are produced. Fumes are created whenever you boil or burn something. Take water, for example. You won't see steam before water boils. Fumes are basically tiny particles that have reached their boiling point and are changing from their liquid state into a vapor or gas. The temperature of a soldering iron tip is generally about 350 degrees C, and the boiling point of tin is 2,603 degrees C. The boiling point of lead is 1,749 degrees C. A 300 to 400 C soldering iron is not capable of boiling metals such as lead or tin, or any of the other metals that are used in solder alloys. So we can see that a soldering iron can melt metals, but it can't boil them. And melting a metal does not release airborne metal particles, such as lead. So where are all the fumes coming from, and what are they? And most importantly, are these fumes safe to breathe? There are additional chemicals within the solder that are actually being boiled during the hand soldering process. Flux is a mixture of chemicals that is basically a heat-activated acidic cleaning agent to help ensure that the metals will wet or bond to each other. Flux is typically contained inside the core of solder wire. If you were to place solder wire right next to a heated soldering iron tip, you would see that the internal flux is released before the metals begin melting. Rosin flux will start boiling at about 175 degrees C. So the smoke you see during the hand soldering process consists of fumes from boiling flux. Rosin flux is a naturally occurring resin extracted from pine trees. This might sound rather safe and benign, but boiling flux does produce hydrocarbons that are not considered safe to breathe. Here are some of the chemicals that are given off when flux boils.